Hello, my name is Zack Gittelman, and for the third consecutive year, this is What's Cooking at Riverview.
My name is Jimmy Kashivas, and I'm very proud and honored to be here at the Cape Cod Media Center for the second consecutive year for What is Cooking at Riverview.
And I'm Will Moorhan from Riverview School at the Cape Cod Media Center.
Hello, good morning. My name is Zack Gittelman, and today I will be recapping the Super Bowl championships of the NFL franchise, the New York Giants. Let's start with the 1986 Super Bowl season, featuring the New York Giants versus the Denver Broncos. This would be the Giants' first Super Bowl in franchise history, and were playing for their first league title since they were defeated by the Chicago Bears in the 1963 NFL Championship. The Giants were led by QB Phil Simms and led by linebacker LT Lawrence Taylor, who led an incredible defense with a 14-2 record as they faced the 11-5 Denver Broncos, led by star legend quarterback John Elway. The Broncos led the first half of the game with a 10-9 lead after Elway scored a 4-yard rush to make a 10-7 game. With the Giants trailing by 1 point, Big Blue came out firing in the second half, with Simms throwing 2 touchdown passes, one to tight end Mark Pavaro and another to Phil McConkey to extend the lead to 33-10. Later in the fourth quarter, running back Otis Anderson iced the game with a score of 39-13. The final score of the game, Giants 39-20, as the Giants go to win their first Super Bowl title in franchise history. 4 years later, the Giants find themselves in another Super Bowl championship against the Buffalo Bills. Despite losing QB Phil Simms, backup Jeff Hostetler would start in the Super Bowl. The Bills were aggressive no-huddle power offense. The 1990 New York Giants were built by head coach Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells' philosophy of power football and a defense and an offense meant to sustain extremely long drives. The Giants were ranked number 1 for allowing the fewest points in the NFL, led by the 3 Pro Bowl selections, defensive tackle Eric Howard and linebacker Pepper Johnson and Lawrence Taylor, also known as LT. To stop the Bills' no-huddle offense, the Giants used a tough-nosed, conservative plan on both sides of the ball. On offense, the plan was to use a power running game utilizing Otis Anderson, aided by quarterback rollouts and bootlegs and play-action fakes. As tight end Mark Pavaro later said, "We came out with 3 points, 3 tight ends, fat slobs, and picking you up and moving you and letting you tackle O.J. Anderson." The game seemed to start slow at first, as both teams held each other to a 3-3 tie to end the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Bills jumped to take a 10-3 lead as running back Don Smith took it in for a 1-yard touchdown run later in the second quarter. The Buffalo Bills tackled Jeff Hostetler in the end zone for a safety to take a 12-3 lead. Late in the second quarter, wide receiver Stephen Baker took it in for a 14-yard touchdown reception to trim the Buffalo Bills lead to 12-10. In the second quarter, the Giants started the third quarter by resuming their original game strategy by driving 75 yards in 14 plays to score on a 1-yard touchdown run to take a 12-17 lead over the Bills. With a lot of high emotions in this game, the Giants retook the lead. The Bills retook the lead with a 31-yard touchdown run from Thurman Thomas. Later in the fourth quarter, Buffalo Bills kicker Big Blue kicker Matt Barr kicked a 21-yard field goal in seconds remaining. Bills kicker Scott Norwood missed a field goal wide right to send off the Giants to their second Super Bowl title in franchise history. 17 years later, the New York Giants would then return yet to another Super Bowl as they faced off against the undefeated New England Patriots. The 2007 Giants were a team built upon resilience and toughness. as they started the 0-2 season 0-2, and they went on to win 6 straight games. After losing the previous 2 seasons in the wild card, the Giants were motivated to compete for a Super Bowl. The 2007 Patriots were named one of the greatest teams of all time. They were the first team to go undefeated in the regular season since 1978 and the Miami Dolphins. Super Bowl 42 was held in Glendale, Arizona, at the University of Phoenix Stadium as the 10-6 New York Giants faced off against the 16-0 New England Patriots. Super Bowl 42 was bound to be one of the greatest games in NFL history. In the first drive, the Giants started with the longest drive in Super Bowl history, having kicker Lawrence Tynes kick a 32-yard field goal to give the Giants a 3-0 lead to start the game. Then New England would then march down the field to respond with a Lawrence Maroney 1-yard touchdown run, and later to give the Patriots a 7-3 lead at the half. On the first drive of the fourth quarter, the Giants would march down the field as Manning completed a 43-yard pass to rookie tight end Kevin Boss and 3 runs by Ahmad Bradshaw and a 17-yard reception by Smith on a third down. Manning finished a 7-play, 80-yard drive with a 5-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver David Tyree. Later in the game, the Patriots would march down the field to score as Randy Moss would score a 6-yard touchdown to give the Pats a 10-14 lead. Later in the game, with the Giants being by 4 points, the Giants would march down the field what would be one of the most remarkable drives in NFL history, and an amazing helmet catch made by undoubtful wide receiver David Tyree, which would captivate with an amazing, remarkable finish and a catch by Plaxico Burress. 5 years later, the New York Giants would find themselves in the same situation with the 9-7 record, and an NFC and NFC East division champs, and a dominant clutch offense and defense. The Giants would then face off against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 45 in Indianapolis. The game began with a safety forced by the Giants, giving them a 2-0 lead. After receiving the free kick, New York drove down 78 yards in 9 plays, including a key 24-yard run by Ahmad Bradshaw, and increased their lead to 9-0 on Manning's 2-yard touchdown pass to wide receiver and star phenomenon Victor Cruz. Later in the second quarter, the Patriots would go down to the field to kick a field goal, trimming the Giants' lead to 9-3. Later in the second quarter, the Patriots would take a 1-point lead, making the score 10-9 at halftime. The New England Patriots took the second half kickoff with a strong start to the second half, with tight end Aaron Hernandez scoring a 12-yard touchdown pass to extend the Pats' lead to 17-9. Just like Super Bowl 42, the Giants would pull off another miracle with a 2 field goals from Lawrence Tynes and a 6-yard touchdown run by running back Ahmad Bradshaw, and a remarkable catch by wide receiver Mario Manningham. The Giants would go on to win their 4th Super Bowl in NFL history. Thank you for tuning in this week to this week's edition of This Week in Sports, Super Bowl style. And I'm your host, Zack Gittelman, and we'll see you next time on What's Cooking at Riverview. Stay tuned, folks.